virus pandemic that began in the early parts of 2020 has affected virtually everyone on the planet. Many celebrities have contracted the coronavirus, and even in a society where games must go on, the sports world was not immune to the virus outbreak. In the United States, the first domino fell on March 11, when it was reported that an active NBA player and All-Stars had tested positive for the novel coronavirus. Before the start of the game, he would have played in. With the potential to infect over a dozen participants, the contest was called off and the NBA indefinitely suspended all play. Following that wild Wednesday evening, multiple current and former athletes, as well as famous sport figures such as New Orleans Saints head coach Sean Payton and beloved ESPN analyst Doris Burke, fought battles against COVID-19. Rudy Gobert was the NBA's first known case. As reported by CNN, Utah Jazz center and one-time All-Stars Rudy Gobert decided to poke the bear on March 9 when he touched microphones and other devices following a press obligation. Those few seconds that elicited chuckles from reporters become no laughing matter nearly 48 hours later, when it was learned that one Jazz player, eventually identified as Gobert, had tested positive for the coronavirus before the tip-off of a game between Utah and Oklahoma City Thunder. Officials determined that the contest would be abandoned and postponed. The decision started the sequence of events that led to the association suspending play. The following day, the two-time Defensive Player of the Year took to Instagram to apologize for his miscue that went viral across the social media platform. The first and the most important thing is, I would like to publicly apologize to the people that I may have endangered, Gobert wrote. At the time, I had no idea I was even infected. I was careless and make no excuse. I hope my story serves as a warning and causes everyone to take it seriously. He later explained on Twitter that he lost his senses of smell and taste while recovering from the virus. Donovan Mitchell was the second Utah Jazz player to test positive. One of the scariest things about the strains of the coronavirus that has shut cities, states, and countries down is that it's extremely contagious. That's true even for professional athletes who are in better physical condition than the majority of we common folk walking the earth. Any lingering doubts about that were erased when Utah Jazz All-Star Donovan Mitchell, a teammate of Rudy Gobert, tested positive for the coronavirus. As reported by The Athletic, Gobert and Mitchell routinely shared spaces in the 48 hours leading up to Utah eventually postponed game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. While club officials tried to explain to Mitchell that there is no way of knowing who among the two of them was NBA's patient zero, Mitchell made his displeasure regarding the situation known during a March 16 edition of Good Morning America. The same Athletic piece published on April 10 claimed that the relationship between the Mitchell and Gobert wasn't salvageable as of that time. On March 27, the NBA announced both Gobert and Mitchell had recovered from the coronavirus. Daniele Rugani was the first Serie player to test positive. Italy was the European nation's hardest hit by the coronavirus from January 1st through mid-April. According to Al Jazeera, over 18,800 deaths in the country have been linked to the virus outbreak during that time. Because of safety concerns and other issues, all Italian sport, including the Serie A, was indefinitely halted on March 9. Per the Associated Press, Serie A giant Juventus announced that club and Italian national team defender Daniele Rugani tested positive for the coronavirus on March 11. 5 days after that announcement, Rugani spoke to Juventus TV about his experience. From Football Italia, I'm fine. I have been pretty good. I haven't had the symptoms you read about in the news. Rugani told the channel, I was lucky despite it being a good hit because I was the first in our environment to get it. I hope it will serve to raise awareness. Jim Edmonds had a rough spring. Known for making some of the most spectacular baseball catches of his generation, outfielder Jim Edmonds was a 4-time All-Star who won 8 Gold Glove awards. During an MLB career, the one-time Silver Slugger led his league in assists among center fielders 4 times, and he was 27th on the career list in that category as of the end of 2019 regular season. Edmonds announced through social media on April 1st that he had tested positive for both COVID-19 and pneumonia while in a hospital. Edmonds quarantined himself from family members as soon as he noticed COVID-19 symptoms, but before any test confirmed the diagnosis. That was only the beginning of the crummy April for Edmund, and he also required 12 stitches in his forehead later in the month after he lost a fight with a glass shower door. Kevin Durant was the first NBA Finals MVP confirmed to have COVID-19. The Brooklyn Nets acquired superstar in 2017 and 2018 NBA Finals MVP Kevin Durant, knowing he wouldn't play for the club during the 2019 and 2020 season. As he recovered from the ruptured Achilles he suffered during the 2019 finals, he told that he wasn't feeling ill. Everyone, be careful, take care of yourself. Those warnings didn't prevent pop superstar Rihanna from taking a shot at Durant during one of DJ Spade's Instagram live session in the late March. According to New York Post, Rihanna joked that she needed to wear a mask because Katy was also in the chat. She also added that she hoped Durant would get better soon. By April 1st, Durant and the other 3 Brooklyn players had recovered and were no longer showing symptoms of the virus. Marcus Smart donated plasma once he recovered from COVID-19. On March 19, Smart announced via Twitter that he had tested positive for the novel coronavirus for a sample collected 5 days prior. "I'm okay. I feel fine," he explained. "I do not feel any of the symptoms." He also stressed for everybody to practice self-distancing during the pandemic. On the last day of March, Smart said that he planned to donate his plasma to the National COVID-19 Convalescent Plasma Project. Antibodies from healthy individuals could help some sick patients recover from the coronavirus. Christian Wood fell ill after he played against the Utah Jazz. Mere weeks before people around the world first grasped the seriousness of the coronavirus pandemic, athletes across multiple professionals and collegiate sport would have been labeled courageous and even heroic for playing in a game while battling flu-like symptoms. Detroit Piston forward Christian Wood reported to the club on the morning of March 11 feeling under the weather. Not only did he play that evening, he scored a team-high 32 points in a double-digit loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. A few days later, Wood tested positive for COVID-19. According to CBS Sports, he was the first NBA player not on the Utah Jazz confirmed to have the virus. He was also the first league player to recover from it. While it will likely never be confirmed how he fell ill because of the nature of the virus, it's worth noting that the Pistons faced the Jazz on the March 7th before Detroit traveled for away games against the New York Knicks and the Sixers. Sydney Wiese first fell ill in Spain. It's not rare for women's professional sports stars such as basketball and soccer players to play in multiple nations during any given year. That was the case with Los Angeles Spark guard Sydney Wiese in the first few months of 2020. With the WNBA season scheduled to get underway on May 5th, new coronavirus and then recovered, remained anonymous.